Central Bank of Nigeria reports drop in federal government revenue. Federal government increases penalty for gas flaring. Plus, how is Nigeria faring in the Open Government Partnership Initiative? Welcome to this edition of Business Express. We are reaching you on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA. I am Amina Nujain. Welcome. We begin with not-so-cheery news. Federal government's revenue recorded a shortfall as its August receipt plunged to 745 billion naira as revealed by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. Just in released economic report for August 2018, the Apex Bank observed that the gross federally collected revenue for August plummeted by close to 300 million naira. The report says the figure was about 33% drop in what accrued to the government coffers when compared with more than 1 trillion naira expected as the monthly receipt. The decline in the monthly budget estimate was attributed to a shortfall in both oil and non-oil revenues. Oil receipts of 403.59 billion naira, or 54.1% of the total revenue, was below the monthly budgeted estimate of 37%, as well as below the preceding month's receipt of 513.54 billion naira by 21.4%. The fall in oil revenue relative to the monthly budget estimate was attributed to the drop in crude oil production arising from repairs and maintenance of oil facilities at various NNPC terminals. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the federal government is committed to unleashing the potential of the private sector and entrepreneurship using micro, small and medium enterprises. Vice President was speaking during the launch of the 19th edition of the National Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Clinic in Enugu. Ijoma Ogoke reports.
Over the years in Nigeria, micro, small, medium enterprise has played a vital role in the overall economic growth of the country. It has also contributed significantly towards improving capacity building, standard of living and productivity. This initiative, Professor Osinbajo said, is aimed at encouraging micro, small and medium enterprise achieve sustainable growth and development. He said it creates opportunity for business owners to register their business at a reduced cost, as the federal government has opened a special window of 90 days to register business with 5,000 naira.
The federal government is fully committed to supporting states, regardless of political or ethnic affiliations, and this is why we have provided close to 2 trillion in fiscal support for states since 2016. This is in order to mitigate the impact of dwindling oil revenue caused by the fall in oil prices which we experienced.
Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, while commending this initiative by the federal government, pointed out that the state government has introduced similar programs to ensure that small business owners develop their various businesses to fast-track all-round economic growth in the state.
We must commend our great leader, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, for the vision behind the conception of this national MSME clinic, which is another laudable addition to the numerous people-oriented initiatives of the federal government.
The program is in partnership with Enugu State Government and the federal government. In Enugu, Ijomu Gweke, NTA News.
The Open Government Partnership OGP is a multilateral initiative that aims to secure concrete commitments from the national and sub-national governments to promote open government, empower citizens, fight corruption, and harness new technologies to strengthen governance. The Open Government Partnership OGP was formally launched on September 20, 2011 on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly meeting, during which heads of state from 8 founding governments, namely Brazil, Indonesia, Mexico, Norway, Philippines, South Africa, United Kingdom, and the United States, endorsed the Open Government Declaration and announced their country's action plan along with an equal number of civil society leaders. Nigeria joined in 2016, pushed by the Buhari administration with a 4-point action plan: fiscal transparency, anti-corruption, access to information, and citizen participation. Nigeria has been faced with the challenge of effectively utilizing her resources to support equitable economic growth, effective service delivery, and social cohesion. This, experts say, can be surmounted if government and citizens embrace open government principles in a tailored stakeholder engagement. Experts on Business Express will be putting forward how this national plan can be effectively used across the arms of government for a better developed society. We are joined by members of the civil society to do justice to our topic of discussion today, Open Government Partnership. We have Stanley Ochono. He is a civil society advisor, OGP National Secretariat. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
We also have Uchenna Arisuchukwu. He is the program coordinator, Center for Strategic Development. Welcome to Business Express.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Stanley, let's start with you. What would you say Open Government Partnership is all about?
It's about giving citizens, stakeholders, an opportunity to participate in governance, make their voices heard, contribute to solving governance challenges in all formats. So basically an opportunity to bring government and non-government actors together to solve the challenges that we face as a country.
Mr. Uchenna, would you agree with his take?
Absolutely. OGP is about reforming the process of governance, making it more open, transparent, and accountability, especially using technology and innovation to getting answers to the questions that we're asking for a very long time.
Okay, talking about answering questions, would you say it's been difficult for states in the country to implement this plan?
It's not difficult, if you ask me. Part of the challenge, why, and we are very glad states are beginning to sign up. As I last
Which states?
We have about 8 states that have signed up now. Start with Kaduna, there's Kano, there's Enugu, there's Niger, there's Anambra, there's Ebonyi. Abia, and the rest. Now, part of the challenge is that most of the states are not aware of what the OGP is, and even they are aware, the process of signing up is a little bit, it's co-created by government and civil society. So it's a thought-out process. And again, OGP at the state level is supposed to be signed in by the governor of the state, the highest political office holder. And you know how busy they are these days. You know the season we are, that they are very busy with elections. But we are making substantial progress as it is.
I was about to ask you, you said it takes the state governors to implement.
Yes.
How far so far?
Well,
okay.
for the states that have signed up, we have seen tremendous progress. A few months ago in July, we were at the Global Summit where Kaduna was used as a global example of states that have proactively implemented open government partnership. Only 2 weeks ago, the Kano state government signed up to and publicly unveiled their own state action plan with commitments ranging from all sorts of service delivery to improve health and education, and also an executive order now giving some sort of legal backing to implementation of issues like access to information and citizen participation in governance. And in a place like Anambra, where we have seen erosion affect communities, we've seen government directly engage with citizens in their states, and one of the key challenges they say they face is the issue of erosion, and they are tackling climate change head-on as part of their open government partnership in consultation with ordinary people of Anambra State. So I can give example that cut across some of the states that have joined, and we continue to engage the other states as well.
How do you think this has aided transparency? Let's have Mr. Stanley take that.
So on transparency, we have seen improved reporting in terms of budgetary process. We have seen more inclusive budgetary process where citizens are now able to give direct feedback to the budget office with respect to projects being implemented in their community. We saw for the first time since we started doing OGP, the National Assembly held 2 public hearings on budget where they invited citizens to get input into the budget. We have seen increased number of documents being published from the budget office. The procurement process is also being improved. The Bureau for Public Procurement is currently building an open procurement platform as well. So there's a lot of changes that are happening, and we expect to see the result of those changes come to fruition in the next few months.
Mr. Uchenna, I see you nodding your head when he was talking about good governance.
Yes.
How do you see this fight in corruption?
Yes, if you look at the National Action Plan, because when countries sign up to the OGP, expected to develop the action plan that you tend to implement. Localized action plan, looking at the context in your country, and look at the issues you think OGP can help you solve. Now, I'll give you 3 instances in our National Action Plan. First, he has mentioned open contracting, open budgeting, and open procurement. Look at the issue of beneficial ownership. It's a huge problem. Only few weeks ago, they said, if you look at the issue, issue of IFF, illicit financial flows.
Yes,
it stems from beneficial ownership. And the countries, including Nigeria, are losing $50 billion yearly to illicit financial flow. So beneficial ownership has come to make sure that companies in Nigeria, not only directors of the company, but people who have substantial interest of these companies are listed in that public register. So that is one way of fighting corruption. And also look at the issue of the Nokopo you mentioned. Every contract awarded in this country is in that portal. I checked it even last night. You can go there, and even in your community. What this does is to help you as citizens, because OGP is about the citizens. To help citizens also monitor and track projects and make recommendations for projects against the coming budgets. So corruption is being stemmed as the OGP continues in Nigeria.
Okay, in all of this, where is the place of technology? We operate in a global village where technology plays a key role. Where is technology in the fight against corruption?
Yeah, technology is at the heart of the OGP actually. If you look at the principles of the OGP, there's transparency, accountability, citizen engagement, and technology and innovation. We have given you some instances now. Nokopo, there's a portal, it's technology. Open budgets, there's a portal, technology. Open contracting. And citizen engagement, because there's a whole working group, a whole thematic area on the National Action Plan, citizen engagement. And one of the commitments is to adopt technology based across boards. If you want to engage citizens, we're on NTA, for example. People are watching out there across the world because we're using technology. So if you want to have that feedback with citizens, you need technology.
I have to come in here.
Yes.
How aware is the public about this use of technology?
I think I can chip in a few things with respect to this. There are a few things that has happened with respect to technology. Uptake is a bit slow, but we continue to push the frontiers of this. First of all, the budget office now has an iMonitor where they directly receive feedback from citizens. So you can directly go to the budget office website, budgetoffice.gov.ng, and you see the iMonitor platform prominently listed on the website. All you just need to do is put in the location of the project.
You're talking about going to the internet. What of those that don't have access to the internet?
We're also using a lot of radio. There's a lot of radio channels that are open. Civil society organizations are doing a whole lot of radio communication to reach citizens. There is a weekly radio program on procurement alone where citizens can make phone call. But there's also a civil society organization, Public-Private Development Center. They have a toll-free platform that people can call to make inquiries with respect to procurement, know who has gotten what contract, how much has been released, what scope of work. you can just call a toll-free line to get that information. So a lot of technology is being deployed with respect to helping citizens access government. But this question is something that is constant. We can't wait till everybody have access to technology before we then start to deploy technology.
That's right.
So we hope that people rely on those with access to pass on the information.
And there are apps too that people, some sensors have developed that you can install on your phone, or even when you're offline, you can also do some work, do some reporting and some monitoring and do feedback to government.
Now, in terms of percentage, how much percentage would you say has been achieved in all of this? In
implementation, I think that so far, with respect to the commitment that the president made, we have made good progress, substantial progress with implementation, and I'll give us about 60 to 70% level of implementation. It doesn't mean that there are no challenges. There are still areas that a lot of work is required, but considering where we are today, I think we have done about 70% of the work that is required of us.
Uchenna, your closing comments.
Okay, first of all, I think we must give kudos to this present administration, the Muhammadu Buhari-led administration, because Nigeria qualified for the OGP in 2014. We couldn't sign in for whatever reasons. We were able to sign in 2016, and it takes courage. It takes commitment for a government to say, look, I want to be open, I want to be transparent, come and look at my books. So kudos. I will also give kudos to the MDAs and CSOs who are co-creating this process. This is the first time, OGP is unique. This is the first time that both parties are coming together to co-create such, and they're doing very well. Everybody, all hands are on deck to make sure the presidential commitment on the OGP are being met. Like Stanley said, there are issues, but we are not where we used to be, even though we are not where we want to be. So there's progress, and we'll continue doing it.
Very quickly, your closing comments.
So I think that is a continuous process, and we're in the process of even designing the next set of challenges we want to confront. So I ask Nigerians to join in this fight. Please make your voices heard. Reach out to the OGP Secretariat, and if there are issues you want us to tackle, we are currently doing a second national action plan, which the president will approve once it's concluded. And we're welcoming feedback from ordinary Nigerians. Okay,
Nigeria is making progress then.
Yes.
Well, Uchenna Arisiko, he is the Program Coordinator, Center for Leadership Strategy and Development. We also had Stanley Ochono. He is a Civil Society Advisor, OGP National Secretariat. It's been a pleasure having you join us on the program today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have been watching Business Express, coming to you live on the network service of the NTA. You can contribute to the program via our website, businessexpress@nta.gov.ng. You can also reach us through our Twitter handle, NTA News Now. Don't forget to use the hashtag BizExp showing on your screen right now. About 19,000 poor and vulnerable households in Kano State have received 10,000 Naira payment for the month of June and July under the Conditional Cash Transfer Program. Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports that the stipend is part of federal government's Social Security Program.
These are some of the beneficiaries in Madobi local government area of Kano State shrilling and thanking President Muhammadu Buhari after receiving their 2 months payment. The program cut across 15 local government areas in the state, and Madobi Center is the second largest with 1,445 beneficiaries. The payment process was characterized by screening of beneficiary through identification of community and tag number.
Today, payment is going on in Madobi, Kunche and Saint.
While addressing the beneficiaries to make judicious use of the money, the State Commissioner for Budget and Planning, Aisha Jafar Yusuf, says more dividend of democracy by a Buhari administration is underway. The additional 25,000 which were enrolled will soon benefit from the program after validation.
The federal government has increased the penalty for gas flaring to $2 per 1,000 standard cubic feet of gas from 10 Naira per 1,000 standard cubic feet of the commodity flared. At the current exchange rate of about 306 Naira to $1, the $2 penalty translates to about 612 Naira per 100 standard cubic foot, while 0.5 $50 penalty translates to 153 naira per 1,000 standard cubic feet. The federal government, through the Federal Government Ministry of Petroleum Resources, in a statement also stipulates a fine of 50,000 naira or a 6-month jail term for both or anyone who provides inaccurate flare data. Nigeria is the world's second largest producer of sweet potato, with an annual output of 3.92 million tons. Let's take a look at price movement of other items on the commodity market. The NSE All-Share Index for Wednesday, the 3rd of August 2018, closed on a negative note. It slipped 0.79% to close at 32,454.02, while market capitalization stood at 11.8 trillion naira. Next, we take a look at global markets. Developments in marketplaces across the globe remain mixed. Here is a summary as compiled by Bosede Abel.
Africa's stocks were mixed in the early hours of Wednesday morning. Ghana's GSE Composite Index appreciated 0.51%, Namibia overall 1.62%, Kenya's Nairobi All-Share 0.17%, while South Africa's JSE Africa Top 40 fell 0.15% and Tunisia's Tunidex also dropped 0.63%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average hit record high on Tuesday as it rallied for a second day, boosted by gains by Intel and optimism around global trade. Dow Jones advanced 0.46% to close 26,773.94, while S&P 500 dropped 0.04% and Nasdaq Composite Index also declined 0.47%. In the early hours of today, Wednesday, October 3rd, the European stocks market moved higher as market players kept an eye on Italian politics and spending plans. DAX remained unchanged, while FTSE 100 appreciated 0.17% and CAC 40 also rose 0.09%. Asia stocks were mostly lower in the early hours of Wednesday. Nikkei depreciated 0.66%. The Hang Seng Index also slipped 0.13%, while Shanghai Composite Index appreciated 29.58 points to 2,821.35.
Naira drops to a 363.80 kobo to a dollar in import-export window Tuesday. We just have enough time for a look at how it's exchanging on major currencies. Well, that's a wrap. But please do remember to send us your feedback via email businessexpress@nta.gov.ng. You can also reach us through our Twitter, and the handle is NTA News Now. Don't forget to use the hashtag BizEx showing on your screen. All previous episodes are also available on NTA's YouTube channel. Until we come your way again on Friday, I am Amina Nujain. Have a pleasant day.